Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay guys, so today we have been farming up in Zul'Farrak, and obviously this is located in Tanaris. Now Zul'Farrak is one of those dungeons where it's pretty much a staple of transmog farming, and to be honest, yeah, it's just like one of the go-to places in order to gain a load of cool transmog. Mainly for the fact of you have a chance of getting any of the glorious set. That includes the glorious leggings, along with the jade leggings and all the jade pieces of gear. There are other little bits of transmog, but they are the most notable of the entire bunch, so to speak. Other than that, you do get some BOE blues, and they are pretty damn cool. Now, for obvious reasons, the cape, the legs, the rune ring thing, and the brain lash are pretty terrible. The ones that are of note for Zul'Farrak is mainly the weapons, besides the bloodletter scalpel. That is mainly because these items are kind of farmed quite a bit, and it's only really the higher end ones that actually sell for a decent amount of gold. So when you're actually doing this dungeon, it basically doesn't take you all that long as well. Other than that, if you are a druid, you must go into your travel form, and you will see why in a second. If not, then I would recommend that you get the chauffeur's mount thing here, because that does the exact same thing as the travel form for druids, as it makes you not be able to get knocked off your mount, as I'm about to pretty much describe in a second for you. So pretty much what you're going to be wanting to do is just gather up all of these mobs, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward, to be fair. The route is fairly good, and it takes around about 4 minutes if you're on your travel form. If you're using an ordinary mount, you will be knocked off like halfway through, or not even that. It just depends when one of the mobs actually decides to knock you off. But along with that, it's pretty straightforward to do. You just gather up all of the mobs. By the way, you're probably wondering why I'm not grabbing the guys on the sides. That's because the other mobs will grab them as they go through. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. After a little while of running it, you kind of get a, there you go, I got knocked off my mount. And that, it's one of those ones where you have to do it a couple of times in order to understand how the hell it's going to work. I use my Druid Soothe to pick off any mobs that won't be grabbed. Those ones will be grabbed because the mobs will come through this way along the side, so they'll pick up those trash mobs. And it's pretty fairly straightforward for you to understand. I personally love this farm because it's just so easy to do and all that jazz. So it's, yeah, it's pretty damn good. Now obviously I'm showing you the route mainly for the fact of simplicity, and at the end of the day you can definitely see all of these mobs. If I was on my mount again, I would have already been knocked off again. I'm pretty certain of that. I just left a couple of mobs that didn't do it right. But yeah, it's pretty good if you do say so myself. I pretty much just do this farm just for the simplicity's sake of just gathering up all of them as and when. So, you know. And I'm pretty much, what I'm going to do now is, once I get to this area here in the dungeon, I click as many graves as I can and then run over to the boss, and what I do is just kill him quickly and then just turn into my cat form and wait for them all to come in. And if you don't kill them fast enough, you will get polymorphed. You have to bear this in mind, because then it takes a lot of time off of your run, because obviously you've got to wait for polymorph to wear off and all that jazz. And yeah, it's pretty damn good. It is a hit or miss farm when it comes to any of the greens or the blues, so you can't be guaranteed like a mega amount of something. We just got the Witch Doctor's Cane, which doesn't sell for an awful lot on my realm, but on regular realms it's about 1.5k, so not overly that great. But Zul'Farrak doesn't really make its amazing amounts of gold just from singular items such as Alderman. It mainly gets its big bulk of its gold through medium end transmog, which you have to sell quite a bit of. That's why you should farm like not just 1 hour and be like, hey, I've done 1 hour. You do it like a lot, and then you'll have a massive bulk of this stuff to sell on the auction house. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward, so let's get on to the professions. Okay, so for the first instance of this week, when it comes to professions, I've actually managed to get hold of inscription, and I got hold of blacksmithing. I've pretty much learned up my outland ones and my original blacksmithing plans. That's mainly because we're going to be crafting a load of old world transmog, and as you can tell with my TSM, I have listed a lot of stuff in order to pretty much make. That's why I've gone into my outland part, but I haven't added them in. So when it comes to the transmog, when you're trying to craft for crafted transmog, it's always best to just double check if you're going to make a profit or not, and you can check the sell rate on the side. I don't really worry about sell rate when it comes to crafted transmog, mainly because they just sell anyway, and I'm pretty much just crafting them mainly for the profit involved. So I'm just really not that fussed about the old sell rate, so I won't be covering that. So what I'm going to do now is I've got going over to my Cataclysm stuff. See, that's got some profit. That is a hands, so I know that I'll probably sell. So I add that in. That's going to add me some profit, 191 gold. That's pretty good. 733 for the hardened obsidian gauntlets. Add that onto the list. Now, the Rad Steel Braces. Now, I don't really worry too much about braces when it comes to crafted transmog, unless you can craft them like super cheap. I don't really bother, mainly because it's it just takes mainly you can probably do something a bit more valuable with your time, so that makes a bit more sense in my idea. If you want to craft them, by all means you can craft them. I'm not boss of you, but I just personally don't do the braces for crafted transmog. And moving on to outland stuff, the felt iron chain tunic, and I can craft that with an uptick of 304 gold, and the pants I can create for an extra 277 gold. But when it comes to outland blacksmithing, it's usually just the weapons that provide you with a lot of gold. So like the Adamantite Reaper, that provides me with 3,638 gold uptick. So that's pretty good. Add that in. And to be honest, I'll probably just add all of these, like the Adamantite Maul, Dagger, all that jazz. Fell Iron Greatsword, Hammer, Hatchet. You get the gist. It's pretty much anything that can be crafted and is a decent transmog item, then you can just make it. And that is pretty much what I'm going to be doing. It'll bulk out my auction house and increase my profits as and when. And the best thing about crafted transmog, or just crafting in general, is it takes a lot less time to do other than standard material farms. So you may want to consider doing crafted stuff as well. Other than that, we got hold of inscription, and I love inscription. I got hold of like a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean a lot of star moss. Once I had like leveled it up to like 150 inscription, and I bought 6,500 odd star moss. So my entire bag was like completely full of star moss. There's like the residue of the star moss there, but yeah, what I wanted to do was to do the shuffle, and pretty much how it goes is you find the lowest herb on your realm, which my one was star moss at like 17 gold a piece. I was able to just mass mill all of that because I had leveled it up, and I can use the mass milling of the star moss, which is ha. Now obviously it says all reds, and to be honest, it's not that bad. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not overly worried about that, because that's not how I was pretty much doing it at that point. So what I tended to gravitate towards was to create the ultramarine pigments and the crimson pigments. So pretty much the pigments for BFA. And what I wanted to do is to just shuffle them into the pigments so I can sell them on the auction house. But then I was like, the sell rate is 0.19, and if I go over to my inks, they're at a sell rate of 0.46. So if I bought a little bit of distilled water and just turn them all into the inks, I can then sell them on the auction house. And lo and behold, this gives me just an extra couple of gold just for turning them into this. But with an increased sell rate, that means I can get my money back a little bit faster, so I can do that again, if you get what I mean by that. So it's really, really easy in order to do. All I had to do was just mass mill, press, create all, and then now I'm just making crimson ink. So that's pretty much what I've been doing for the entire week, was just leveling up the professions, doing Zul'Farrak, and just going through everything that I was trying to do. Other than that, there weren't that many things of note when it came to the transmog stuff for Zul'Farrak, because it's all like low-end transmog. But if you can tell, I've got 10 ton of stuff. I also made some contracts. I made 20 or 40 of each, which I can then sell using my TSM group, which is Singles Bro. And I can sell everything on there for singles. Obviously you can tell that I've got my dual crafted stuff. That's because I was doing something with my dual crafter earlier, and I wanted to see if I could get it to work before I did it on this. But other than that, the stuff what was of note was the stuff right here. And I managed to pick up the jade leg plates of the Quickblade and Aurora. They're basically just the jade leg plates. The region market value average is around about 47,000 gold for each. So if I was on like overall, that's like nearly 90k, well just over 90k for those two pieces, along with all these transmog. I got the Gut Ripper for a market value average of 11,000 gold, and I got the Robe of Insight, which on my realm is valued at 68,000 gold. So if I can sell that, I'll be pretty damn good. I also got the Edge Masters handguards, which don't actually sell for an awful lot on my realm, but the region market value average states at 11,900 gold. So it's kind of one of those ones where it's a bit of a hit and miss when it comes to just crafting in general and posting them on the auction house. So that being the case, let's get into the gold for the week. Okay, so for the gold for the week, on our first clean out, we have around about 265 auctions that have sold, and we have managed to sell and we've managed to gain around about 16,394 gold for the first clean out. The things that were of note are the Overlord's Greaves, the Boa XI, which is one of the Mr. Pandarian new pets for 6,000 gold. They've dropped so much. And we sold the Ebonhold Boots. Anything else is just low tier transmog or the Heartbound Tome, which I believe is from... I actually don't know where that's from, actually. Off the top of my head, I can't actually remember. So I might have to double check that. But other than that, that's like 16,000 gold, and I'm pretty damn happy with just like 16,000 gold. The next clean out is around about 5,915 gold. And the things that are of note are the Serpent Lord Claymore of the Quickblade, the Black Fang, and that's about it. It's all low tier transmog once again. So I really am loving the amount of sales that we're getting at this moment in time. I know it's just low tier transmog, but we're selling a lot of low tier transmog. Low tier transmog at this moment in time is seeming to be selling a lot easier and or faster than higher tier transmog, as people don't really want to spend the money anymore for that type of stuff, so they're going for the low tier options at this moment in time, and we're finding that to be quite good. The next clean out that we have is 39,218 gold for this next clean out, and we sold all of that obsidian ore from the other week for about 5,800 gold, and that is 4 stacks of all of that. We also managed to sell a formula enchant of Mighty Intellect for 1,300 gold, and the Azure Wind Seeker for 5,400 gold. And along with that, we managed to sell the Dark Iron Ore for 6,000 gold for a small stack. That's pretty damn good. So, pretty happy with all that right there. That's an extra load of gold. Pretty happy. But we still got a bit more to go when it comes to mails. So hopefully we can gain like a decent amount of gold for this week. I did miss one of the days on reposting. I basically just fell asleep and then just didn't wake up until my shift. So I guess I needed it, I suppose. But other than that, the next clean out is 34,798 gold. And the things that are of note from this one is the Eternal Earth, which we sold for 1,000 gold. We managed to sell the Obsidian Cleaver for 700. We sold the Mistscape Armor for 12,000 gold. And we managed to sell all of that Saronite ore from the other week for 5.9 gold. Well, 5,900 gold. You get the gist. But I'm loving these clean outs. The first one I was like, it's okay, I guess. But these ones, they're the ones that I'm looking for. Like the ones that are a decent clean out, like anything over 30k or something along those lines. And the next clean out is 21,467 gold. And the things that are of note are the Dark Iron Ores, which we sold for 8,800 gold a stack. So pretty happy with that. And everything else on here is just low tier transmog once again. So yeah, it's all adding up to a decent amount of gold. Obviously I spent around about 300,000 gold just leveling up every part of my professions. But we'll be able to reap the benefits in the long run as opposed to the short term. I just wanted to get it done, so I leveled it pretty damn good. And for the last clean out, this is definitely not going to be as good as last week. Last week was pretty damn good for clean out. And the last bit is pretty much all rune cloth and a bit of star rubies for 1,176 gold for 16 auctions. Not that great, but I'm glad I sold all that rune cloth though. It may have been just 56 gold per stack, but we really essentially just got that for like Jackal because we were just running Black Rock Depths. So all in total we have around about 118,968 gold in total for the week. We could have done better. I shouldn't have forgotten how to do the thing. But we're currently sat at 832,000. So if we didn't spend the 300,000 gold, that would have been, well, that would have been borderline 1.2 thousand. No, it would have been 1,200,000 gold we would have had in our banks. But obviously we reinvested 300 gold into our professions to actually gain a lot more stuff. So that being the case, guys, I'm going to craft all of this stuff into inks and post everything on the auction house. So that being the case, guys, have a lovely rest of the day. I shall see you in the next video on Monday. Take it easy, guys.